Hi, Daniel Tokar here with the Willow Forge in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. The last Blacksmith Dictionary, the one I posted last week, I showed how forging a taper onto the bar before rolling it up into a scroll gave you quite a different result from just trying to roll up the square-ended bar. And I mentioned that there were different kinds of spirals, different kinds of scrolls, different ways to lay them out. And I thought probably a lot of you already know this, but I'll do it anyway. This is a piece of sheet metal, which is good to do a little layout pattern on, because that way when you've got a red hot scroll, you can actually hold it up against there without setting it on fire, which is a handy thing. So I'm going to start with what's called a logarithmic scroll or a golden ratio scroll, because this particular one has an angle that if you unrolled it would be 1.618 to 1, which is the golden ratio. And you can generate one of those by taking a square. Use my little piece of pipe to draw a square. And then you start at one of the corners of the square and you set your compass. Set your compass to the width of your square. And you come out to where it would be a straight line from the next side, and you back up and you open your compass up and you set it to that corner and to the line that you made from the first corner. So you set that corner, and you come out to where it's even in line with the third edge. Then you loosen the compass again, reset it, set the compass. Of course, this is for us Stone Age people who grew up with pencils and compasses and straight edges. Pythagoras would be proud of us. But okay, you see how that lines up now with the fourth corner. I loosen the compass, set it to the width from there to there. Tighten the compass up. Make sure I get it lined up nicely. Alright, so that is a layout of a golden ratio scroll. I'm going to mark it with the Sharpie just so you can see it better. Mrs. Tumblety, my first grade teacher, would be proud that I can still color inside the lines. Not sure how much she'd think about my geometry. I'm just following that pencil line around, and that's the same spiral that you see in nautilus shells, lots of other things. So that's a logarithmic spiral in general, but in particular that is the spiral you get from a square, and that generates the golden ratio, that incline, that opening of the spiral, is 1.618 to 1 if it was a wedge. If you mythically took that incline and unrolled it, the length to height ratio of the incline, if you rolled it up, would be 1 to 1.618. One of the other ways of laying out a spiral is arithmetic. It's sort of simple arithmetic. You start off with sort of a grid by drawing across, and you just lay out even increments. In this case, I'm just doing ½ inches along each arm. I'm going to go out to 3 inches, and then ½ inches on this arm, and ½ inches on this arm, and ½ inches on the final axis. Oops, I've sort of obscured these, but I can still see them. All right, so you start at the first one, and you want to join it to the second mark. So the first mark arches over to the second mark. The second mark goes to the third mark, and you're trying to sort of fair the curve as you go. I'm just doing this as a rough layout. And then this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see this sort of spiral you get. And I'm trying to correct it to make it look good here. And if you wanted to bring that to the origin, it would kind of look like that. So if you were making a full-scale drawing of a spiral, you can lay it out arithmetically and get that sort of spiral as opposed to this sort. This one, you can draw an origin too, which would be something like that. Okay. Now, there are other systems for laying out spirals that come from other cultures, other places, other times. And one of the reasons I had this little piece of string here is that in the Celtic world, a long time ago, they were fond of laying out what are called involutes. And the simplest way of explaining that is it's the shape you get from unwinding a string from around a shape. So if you start off with a string wrapped all the way around a piece of pipe, okay, we'll get that down close so that it's all kind of even, and you hold the pipe in one place, and you hold the string here, and you unwind it. Here, got to do this evenly. Yeah. Unwind it evenly. I've gotten my strings crossed. Aha. you get a shape like that, which I will now follow with my magic marker. There's a reason that they're magic. I'm just following the line that that pencil made by unwinding oops. Start that there. There's the origin. And that's called an involute. You know, if I was really smart, what I would do is I would just tie the little piece of string around my magic marker and unwind it from around the piece of pipe. Make a direct image. Okay, here I go. See if I can do this so that you can see it. I don't want my fat fingers in the way. Okay, you see how I've got the string tight, and all I'm doing is unwinding it from around the piece of pipe, and I end up with that shape, which I believe, if my geometry is still with me, is called an involute. So that's an involuted curve. In a lot of Celtic artwork, that was one of the ways they laid things out. They liked to take sticks and strings and lay things out. But anyway, there are all sorts of different kinds of scrolls and spirals, and I thought I'd at least throw that out at you, and maybe I'll show you more. But that's all for today. Bye.